Okay, good evening. My name is Roger East, and I think this little video really is to talk about the good work that Kick Off at Three do, um, and the type of people that help Kick Off at Three, which is myself and many other ambassadors. So a little bit of background about myself, because those of you who don't know me, you may not be football fans. I was probably one of the ones who used to shout out on the television. For about 7 years. I was a Premier League referee from 2012 to 2019, where I had to retire. My only claim to fame is that I was the oldest ever. Not much of a claim to fame, I hasten to add, but it's the only one I've really got. So the last game I did, I was 54 years old. Very exciting game. I finished Crystal Palace Bournemouth, 5 goals to 3, which was fantastic. And for me, my family was the only time they all came to watch me on that particular day. And I mention that because I think family is very important. Now, to me, families aren't just people that are related to you. They're families in the community that help each other. And going back to Kick Off at Three, what they do to people, what they do for people is really important. It's trying to help youngsters and guide them into a path where they don't get into trouble, and they really make a difference to their own communities. And that's why I really got involved. Michael and Ashley asked me if I'd be kind enough to come and help with the football tournaments. Now, obviously, for myself, I come and referee, and I really try and make a difference for the kids, and give them a purpose for the day, but also try and help the actual day in general. And really, to me, it's something that I really love doing, refereeing, and hopefully it makes a small difference to the kids when they see someone that they used to shout at, taking time and trouble to help them in the day. And what else would they be doing? Maybe possibly not playing sport. And sport is really important to youngsters. I think they're happy when they're playing sport. And I think they enjoy it, and to see their faces full of enjoyment makes me happy. And I think putting something back into sport, when you've been fortunate enough to have a paid job in something that I really, really enjoyed doing, is just an absolute pleasure and a bonus, really. And I think that's important. Moving on, I'm more than happy to support Kick Off at Three in the next few years. I know that we're trying to do more tournaments next year. It's been a really hard time during COVID, because getting things done in COVID is incredibly difficult. But I think Michael and Ashley have done remarkably well to have 2 tournaments during the COVID time, and to do other things like the bikeathons. I probably said that wrong because I'm very old, but the bikeathons, and really trying to get people help in the community to improve the lives of many others. And fair play to them. They work incredibly hard. And for people like me, just to give a little bit of time to help them in anything they do, I think is really important. So for me, keep going, Michael, keep going, Ashley. And even the little bit I help you support, I will only do too happy to do. With regard, moving on to the actual tournaments we do, we employ, or I say we employ, we get about 4 or 5, 6, 7 referees to come along during the day, and many teams turn up. There was even girls teams in this last one, which was fantastic to see young girls enjoy their day. And I think they even came from Plymouth, which was an awful long way away. But to come out on a day trip on their bus, it was fabulous to see them all. And the team that actually won had never played together before, which was incredible. And they're obviously very talented footballers out there that don't play regular football. And to come along to those tournaments and see the joy in their face, it was fabulous, and really good. To finish really with myself, just to say, I think young kids look to people for careers, and obviously we've got football ambassadors where they can play football. And for myself, if I was never good enough to play professional football, but fortunately, I managed to get to the top in refereeing. And that's an option for a kid of today. There is an opportunity to be a professional referee. So if you're not quite good at playing, then why not become a referee? With myself, I started in the professional game running up and down the line with a flag. We used to be called linesmen then. They're called assistant referees now. But in the year 2000, I started that. In 2003, I was promoted to the Premier League as an assistant referee. And in 2004, I started going abroad, doing Champions League games, World Cup qualifiers, and even run the line in the under-21 championship finals. So then by 2007, I had the opportunity to be promoted as a referee, because in those days you used to do dual roles as an assistant or a referee. So in 2007, I became a referee in the Football League. And I joked with a lot of people earlier on that my mother was quite upset because it meant taking AC Milan out of the equation to Port Vale, which apparently is not very kosher around the God Bowls Club. It's a lot more better to say your son's going to Milan. But that for me, I wanted to be a referee. And you have to then start at the Football League level. And for 5 years, I did Football League until I had a phone call in 2012 while I was playing golf in Liverpool. I missed 3 phone calls. And eventually they got hold of me and said, would I like to be a Premier League referee? And I have to say, as a kid enjoying sport, that was a fabulous phone call. And I had 7 fantastic years in the Premier League. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. The trials and tribulations of upsetting the people in the papers, but that doesn't mean anything at all, because at the end of the day, when you walk out with the ball under your arm and a whistle at places like Wembley, Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, is a fabulous feeling. And I would say it makes your hair stand up on your back, but obviously you can see that that's obviously not the case in my case. But after saying that, it was fabulous. I thoroughly enjoyed my career, and for anything I can now do to help kids enjoy their life rather than career, to me is a godsend. And also the fact that to help Michael and Ashley in a small way, I'm only too pleased to. But many thanks for listening.